Imagine the shock and grief. Two National Guard members ambushed in broad daylight, just blocks from the White House. One dead, the other critically wounded. This horrifying event has led to murder charges against a 29-year-old Afghan national, Rahmanullah Lakanwal. But here's where it gets controversial. What drove Lakanwal to allegedly commit such a violent act? Was it a sudden impulse, or something far more calculated? Let's delve into the details of this developing case. Rahmanullah Lakanwal, residing in Bellingham, Washington, has been formally charged with murder in Washington, D.C., following the shooting of two West Virginia National Guard members. He made a remote appearance before a judge on Tuesday, connecting from his hospital bed where he's recovering from gunshot wounds sustained during the incident. These wounds were inflicted by another National Guard member at the scene. During the court session, Lakanwal, dressed in a hospital gown and covered by a blanket, communicated through a Pashto interpreter. He faces serious charges, including 1 count of murder, 2 counts of assault with intent to kill, and 1 count of possessing a firearm during a violent crime. Lakanwal pleaded not guilty to all charges through his court-appointed attorney. At one point during the proceedings, he complained of pain and difficulty opening his eyes, stating through the interpreter, "I cannot open my eyes. I have pain in my ear." Assistant U.S. Attorney Ariel Dean described the incident as a shocking crime that occurred around 2 p.m. during the beginning of rush hour the day before Thanksgiving, emphasizing the brazen nature of the alleged attack. The victims have been identified as Army SPC Sarah Beckstrom, 20, who tragically lost her life, and U.S. Air Force Staff Sgt. Andrew Wolfe, 24, who sustained critical injuries. Both were members of the West Virginia National Guard and were reportedly ambushed while conducting high-visibility patrols in the area. New details surrounding the attack emerged when authorities unsealed a criminal complaint against Lakanwal, who is a married father of 5 children. The complaint alleges that Lakanwal shot Beckstrom from behind and was attempting to reload his weapon after being shot himself, just before being subdued. An autopsy confirmed that Beckstrom was shot once in the back of the head. Wolfe was also shot in the head, according to the complaint. And this is the part most people miss. Witnesses at the scene reported hearing Lakanwal shout, "Allahu Akbar," an Arabic phrase meaning God is great, as Beckstrom and Wolfe fell to the ground. This detail immediately raises questions about potential motives. Video footage recovered from the scene allegedly shows Lakanwal approaching the National Guard members and opening fire after rounding a corner, with his hands raised in a firing stance, according to the criminal complaint. The National Guard member, who shot Lakanwal, stated that the suspect's firearm, a .357 Smith & Wesson revolver, appeared to be empty, and he was attempting to reload. Uniformed Secret Service officers and a witness then subdued Lakanwal and took him into custody. D.C. Superior Court Magistrate Judge Renee Raymond ordered Lakanwal to be held without bond until at least January 14. Judge Raymond stated, "It is fairly clear that Lakanwal came across the country 3,000 miles armed and with a specific purpose in mind. There's video footage of him waiting in broad daylight, and that upon seeing a contingent of law enforcement officers, including the slain and injured National Guard persons, he went in their direction. He started shooting at them." A motive for the attack remains under active investigation. But here's a question for you: does the judge's statement imply a premeditated act, regardless of the ultimate motive? Sources have suggested that the FBI is investigating the shooting as a potential act of international terrorism, exploring whether it might have been inspired by an international terrorist organization. But thus far, no concrete evidence has been publicly released tying Lakanwal to any specific terrorist group, and no terrorism-related charges have been filed. This raises another critical question: at what point does an act of violence become classified as terrorism, and what evidence is required to make that determination? Adding another layer of complexity, it has been revealed that Lakanwal previously worked with the U.S. government as part of a partner force in Kandahar, Afghanistan, until the withdrawal in 2021. CIA Director John Ratcliffe stated, "This individual and so many others should have never been allowed to come here." Sources familiar with the investigation indicate that Lakanwal was involved with the Zero Unit in Afghanistan, working closely with the CIA and the Joint Special Operations Command, targeting U.S. counterterrorism objectives. He was considered a trusted member of that team. The investigation also suggests that Lakanwal was under financial distress due to his expired work permit, and that he might have been experiencing a mental health crisis. Investigators are also exploring whether the recent death of an Afghan commander with whom Lakanwal worked and deeply respected may have contributed to his emotional state. This adds a tragic dimension to the story, raising questions about the long-term effects of war and displacement on individuals who have served alongside U.S. forces. This case presents a complex web of potential motives, ranging from personal struggles to possible extremist influences. What do you think? Could financial hardship and personal loss truly drive someone to such violence, or is there something more sinister at play? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. This is a developing story, and your insights are valuable as we try to understand the circumstances surrounding this tragedy.